This is the new 1400 watt Ego Power Plus power station battery generator that everyone is saying is going to replace gas generators. Today I'm putting that to the test, and by the end of this video you'll know whether this is a great investment or a big mistake. Up next. Everyone, my name is Jeff. I do tech and gadget reviews as well as a lot of Ego product reviews on this channel. Today I want to show you guys this new battery generator from Ego. For full disclosure, this was not sent to me. I purchased this with my own money. So this review is my honest results after using this now for a couple of weeks and putting it through testing. In the instance, if you're going to use this for camping or if you lose power for 24, 48 hours, is this going to get the job done powering your devices, your electronics, or as a backup power source for your house? Find out all of that coming up. Now, in case you're wondering, Ego actually has two power stations that they offer. This one, which is brand new for 2026, and a previous one, the Ego Nexus, which they released several years ago. Now, I've done a full review video of the previous Ego Nexus battery station, so if you want to check that out, that'll be linked down below. The other thing is, if you like this video, after watching this, if you're still on the fence about maybe this one or the previous Nexus generator, which is still available out there, I'm going to be doing a comparison video, putting these side by side, which I will also link down in the video description when that video is released, if you want to check that out as a full comparison between this one and the other battery power station. So let's just talk about the unit and everything that comes with this particular setup. So the model number on this power station is the PST1400-2. And the 2 is actually for this model because it includes two 6 amp hour batteries. You can buy just the power station itself, and that's going to be PST1405. The pricing on just buying this unit is going to be $699. So $700 is going to get you the power station itself. Now, for $200 more, for $899, which is 900 bucks, so 700 versus 900, you get two 6 amp hour batteries. To me, that's a deal on these batteries, because if you're going to buy one of these 6 amp hour batteries alone, as of the recording of this video, each one of these batteries, these 6 amp hour batteries, are going to be $324, $325 a piece. So that starts to get some crazy money right there. These batteries are the BA3360T model numbers, and to me, you're saving like 450 bucks by buying this combo package. And I understand it's a couple $100 more, but what you're getting for the value in buying this, just like when you're buying any of the other Ego tools, I always recommend, in my opinion, you're getting the best value if you buy some sort of a combo, if they offer it with the tool or the equipment and batteries included, because to buy more of these Ego batteries by themselves, I mean, you might as well just buy yourself another tool with some batteries for the cost of just buying these batteries. Like I say in all the videos, if you're going to buy any Ego equipment or any Ego batteries, as soon as you get these guys open, on all these different units, you want to look for some sort of a registration area. On this particular one, it's right here on the side. On the batteries right on the side here, it's going to indicate the manufacturer date as well as a serial number. Same thing for any of your tools. What Ego does is they offer a warranty on all this stuff. So the equipment is typically 5 years on all their tools and equipment products, and then 3 years on the batteries. You're going to want to go onto Ego's website, and I'll leave a link down in the video description for where you can go register your Ego equipment and batteries. And having that warranty is awesome because, like I said, with these batteries being normally $320 or $330 a piece, if one of these things should fail within that 3 years, you can go back to Ego. They will give you another one of these batteries. So in my opinion, that warranty is great. Make sure you register any equipment you purchase. So there's one downside that completely changes the value of this power station, and it's probably not what you're thinking. Stay tuned. So this unit can be set down sitting like this, or what's cool is you can pick it up and you can set it like that, which is pretty neat. Now, something to note, I want to show you guys all the different sides of this. Let's actually start at the bottom. So not much to see at the bottom except some warnings, but I do want to let you guys know that it's got some rubber feet, and these feet actually raise this up, so it's actually sitting like about a ½ inch off the ground. Pretty cool. In addition to that, there's these handles where you can pick this thing up. Again, they've got these rubber coated. The rest of this is plastic. In fact, this whole unit, like on the outside, is all plastic. But for easy grip, you can use these handles to pick this up. What I really like about this is it's fairly light. This thing is 17.6 pounds, light enough where I can take one hand, pick this guy up, and it's fairly easy to maneuver. 17.6 pounds. Now, when you add batteries to it, these two 6 amp hour batteries, if I pop these on, now this thing weighs about 30 pounds. So now it's starting to get a little heavier, but still easy enough to manage and take with me, very portable. And real quick, as I do in all the videos on this channel, I've hidden Tinker. Tinker's this little hidden robot that pops up in every video on this channel, including this video. Tinker, our little robot, is going to pop up. He looks just like this guy on my shirt, so be on the lookout for Tinker. And if you're the first person to spot him and correctly leave the timestamp, that's the amount of time into this video when he pops up down in the comments section below, I will give you a shout out in one of my future videos, as well as put your name on our Tinker Forward Hall of Fame page. So we're going to set this guy back up, and I want to show you guys the front readout area. So a couple of cool things to show you. First off, there's a light. There is a readout screen, which we'll take a closer look at coming up. And then you've got some buttons here. You've got a power button to turn the whole unit on. You've got a button to activate your outlets. You've got a button to activate the light, and it's got Bluetooth here. So all sorts of different buttons there. You've got two covers here. Let's open this first cover up, and this cover has a little magnet on it. When you get it close to closing, it actually magnetizes closed, which is pretty cool. It's got different ports. So USB-C ports that are up top. This one right here is an in-out. So it has 100 watts of USB-C power. So you can either pull and charge your batteries on this thing with this 100-watt USB-C port, or you've got an 18-watt output USB-C port right here. And then down here you have two USB-A 18-watt ports as well. We're going to go down here. These are your 120 volt, 11.7 amp outlets. And these have that 1400 watt power. So you can go ahead and plug in stuff in these outlets. You're going to get 1400 watts of power, up to 2000 watts peak power. So if you're jumping something that needs a little bit more than that 1400 watts, you'll get a little bit up to that 2000 watts of peak power. And again, you've got 3 of these outlets here to be able to power your devices. Let's turn this unit on its side, and let's start going through the different sides. So on this first side here, it says Ego, and then it's got peak power technology. And this is actually a little door that opens up. Look at that. So inside, this came with this, included is a USB-C cable. And if we pop that off, this cable says 100 watts right on it. This is the cable that you can use if you go back to the front here and open up this particular port to charge this unit up. So we're going to go ahead and plug that in. And if you've got a USB-C outlet, you can plug this in. Now this is 100 watts, so you wouldn't want to plug this into, say, a computer or something like that to try and charge the batteries on this unit. You would need to have a 100 watt USB-C plug box that you can buy online. But then that offers another way to charge this unit as an alternative to using this power cord right here. All right, let's jump back onto this side. The only other thing I want to talk about is you've got vents down here, and there appears to be some sort of a fan either inside or right by these vents to vent it while it's going to be running. And we'll turn this thing on so you can kind of hear and see what that's going to be like. Now, while this thing is charging, this vent that's up top here, I'm putting my hand right here, and there is some, pretty good breeze coming out. I don't know if you can hear that, but we are getting some noise noticeably from that fan as it's charging these batteries up. Let's start turning it around. So what we're going to do is go to this side here, and what you can see on these sides is this is the slots or the bays where you're going to put your different batteries. They all are conveniently numbered. So 1, 2, on the other side we've got 3, 4. And you'll just take one of your Ego batteries. If you're new to Ego, you push this button on the battery and it'll show you how much power it's got left. On the bottom side of the battery, you've got this little slit area, and this is where the contacts for the battery are going to meet the contacts right here on this unit. Now this unit features these shields, which I haven't seen these shields before, but these are protecting the contacts that make contact with the battery. Those pop up when there's no battery on there. I'm going to take a battery as an example, go ahead and slide it on here and click it all the way down. There's a little essentially click slot locking mechanism right here to hold the battery in place. So this is not going to go anywhere until you unclick the battery out and then pop it off. But essentially you've got 4 bays, so you can pop your batteries on here. I'm going to flip this around. On the other side, again, you've got 2 more bays, so 3 and 4, and you can pop your batteries on here. You can run up to 4 batteries on this thing at one time. And on this side down here, this is where your registration information will be. So your serial number, your manufacture date, there's even a little QR code here to scan. So all of your equipment information is on this side. So then we've got our final side here, which I'm just going to flip over to, and this is going to provide you an area where you've got different ways to power this unit. First, we'll go over here is your AC, so you can flip this rubber cover up. That's where you're going to plug in this particular cable that came with the unit, and then you can plug this into a regular 120 volt outlet that you might have at your house, and that's going to power up any of the batteries that are on here. The other way that you can charge these batteries is using solar, and solar is built in, or solar charging, I should say, is built into this unit. You will just need to have a connector cable, and I'm going to show you an example. So essentially what this solar port is right here is it's an XT60, and that is going to take something like this. You can buy these cables online, like on Amazon or something, and this is just going to pop into that port. That is going to go to the other end here, and this is an MC4, and there's a positive, negative. This would potentially go into a solar panel. Like I've got a solar panel that's out on my shed that I can show you guys that has the same connector that connects to these 2 cables, and then this cable just goes into here. A cable like this is probably going to be like $15 to $20 on someplace like Amazon, but that's essentially then going to allow you to solar charge your batteries using this unit. All right, without even doing anything else, just putting the batteries in here. As soon as I put them on here, this thing lit up, and I can see on both the batteries what the charge status is. So they both seem to have like 1 solid tick mark and then a tick mark that's flashing. And it says up here 22%. So let's look at a couple of things. One, you can see the readout, and it's showing here roughly 800 watts of input. You can see the percentage is going up on the amount of power that these batteries have. And it is currently working to charge things up. So let's say you're going to use this and you had this hooked up to stuff, and maybe you're going to use this in an emergency. Let's see what happens here. I've got my laptop plugged in. Let's unplug this AC input here to simulate having like power failure. Let's pull that out. So essentially, that fan's going to shut off. I'm still outputting here 5961 watts. To this particular laptop, even though I've unplugged this guy. Let's go ahead and plug this back in, saying power's restored. And let's see what happens here. We still continue to get some output. Now, I will say it's interesting because even though it is still outputting, when I unplugged this guy, the output goes away for a second or two here. So if we pop that out, our charging has stopped, and then the output comes back. So if you are trying to run something continuously and you can't have like a second or two of the power cutting out, that is something to note about this unit. Something else to note here is that just like with the previous Nexus system, let's say you are going to maybe remove one of these batteries, you need it for a tool or something like that. I'm currently pulling 61 watts to power my laptop here. I'm going to pull this battery off. Now in doing that, I still got this battery powering everything. Nothing was disturbed at all. Like the power continued, the output continued. Let's say I was going to add a battery or add this battery back in right here. And now we pop that back on. Again, has not disturbed anything that this is powering. So you've got the ability here to hot swap batteries, which is pretty cool, to either take them off or add more batteries as needed to the unit. So the other thing I want to show you is this has an app that's associated with it. It is the Ego Connect app. So you can go into your Play Store, into your Apple App Store, go ahead and download that. I've already done that, so we're going to open up. And then from this point, you'll need to log in or register for a free account. And then to link this device with the app, I'm just going to go here to add, and I'm at the home button at the bottom. And it seems to have found, it says here, the device PST1400 near you has been found. We have our Bluetooth icon over here. There's a Bluetooth that's popped up right there that's flashing. So now I'm going to hit confirm on the app. From this point, it says pairing was successful. I also have the option here, I can register it right now. I'm going to do that. So with the power station synced up, this is the screen you see in the app. And we see the same thing on the readout in the background. It says 46%, 46%. That is the total charge of all the batteries that are currently on there. It tells you here that it's charging and will finish in roughly 35 minutes. which to charge up two 6 amp hour batteries in 35 minutes, that's pretty good. It is currently plugged in, so the input here is 789 watts, and that's kind of adjusting as it goes. I'm also powering my laptop that's right over here. You've got the remote capability here where you can turn the AC outlets on and off remotely. Same thing for the USB. Now, the USB comes on automatically, but again, I can just turn that off by just tapping on the app. And then down here, there's other settings like the light mode. I can go into that. And so you've got off, low, high, even an SOS mode, which I couldn't seem to find the SOS mode without the app. That's just something that seemed to be there. Screen auto sleep options, so 30 minutes, 15, or if you want it always on, or if you want the screen on for an hour. And then you can schedule charging. So set a scheduled time for the AC input charging. You can do that. And then battery optimization, set the maximum charging percentage to 90% to extend the battery life. So if I turn that on, it's only going to charge the batteries to 90% instead of 100. The other thing is if you go up to the top here and you tap on the little arrow, this is going to show you the details for the charge of each in particular battery on each base. So we've got battery 1, battery 2. If I added 2 more, I could see 2 more battery stats. If I close out of the app and go back into it, now granted I'm on an Android phone, a Google Pixel 9, it doesn't seem to want to connect. And even if I turn my Bluetooth on and off, if I cycle in and out of the app, it doesn't seem to want to connect. However, if I power this unit down, let's go ahead and just power it back on here. It will attempt to connect again, and then it connects right up. Maybe that's something they'll fix with an update, or maybe that's just something specific that's wonky with my phone, or that's specific to Android, but something that I did notice. And so in the instructions here, it basically says that if more than one battery pack is installed, the power station is going to charge the battery pack with the lowest charge first. And when the charges of all the installed battery packs reach the same level, the power station will start charging the battery packs simultaneously. All battery packs will be fully charged at the same time. So you can see here, both of these guys are charging up. They're both at the same status level. This is different from the previous Nexus that would try to fully charge up one battery and then go to the next one and then start charging that one and keep going. This one is going to try and charge all the batteries up here at the same time. So let's take a look at the solar charging aspects of this power station. On the top of my shed, I've got a 100 watt Renogy solar panel, and we'll take a look at that in a second for reference. Today it's a pretty sunny day, pretty clear, not a lot of clouds out here. I've got that solar panel connected to the power station. It's actually going, the cables are going into my shed and then coming back out here. Let's jump over to the power station. So coming out of my shed, I've got the solar cables. Those are going into the input of the power station here. And we can see on the readout right now, from that 100 watt solar panel, I'm getting 75 watts of input. Not bad at all. My batteries are at 80%. With the clouds out of the way, I'm actually getting up to 81 watts there. Pretty cool stuff. So it is charging those guys up. Now I could increase this even more if I had, you can do up to 200 watts max charging with this. So I could either get another 100 watt solar panel or buy a 200 watt and hook this up. That would increase that input that's coming in there. I have the Connect app pulled up on my phone and I can see all the information here. Input 75 watts. I can see up top here the charging, so it gives me an estimate. Charging is not going to be the fastest from solar, but 2 hours, 15 minutes to get both these batteries up to 90%. If I go ahead and tap on the arrow here, I can see both the batteries and what their status is, what their percentage is. And then I've got access here to remotely turn on. Let's turn on those outlets. I've actually got a fan plugged in here, and we will see in a moment here when that fan kicks on. If I've got it turned off. Let's turn this on. My fan is running, and now I will see in the app that I've got 78 watts of input. I'm outputting 35 watts. It says here that we're running pass-through charging. So pass-through charging, it's going to use the difference between this input and this output to continue charging up these batteries, but at the same time, I am able to run whatever it is. In this instance, it's that fan. So pretty cool technology that you can do both those things at the same time. Again, I wish it would give me that time readout on this screen so I wouldn't have to pull it up in the app, but pretty cool that you can see all that information in the app here as well. So the biggest downside to this product is that whether you're buying it with no batteries or you're buying it with the 2 battery combo like I did, you're not really paying full price for this unit. If you want to take advantage of all 4 bays for this power station, you're going to need more batteries. Now, if you're already in the ecosystem, you may have more batteries and you can just pop those on and you're good to go. But if you're thinking that you're going to pay, full price for this unit, or maybe for the combo with the batteries, what you may not be thinking about is to take full advantage of more runtime down the road, you're probably going to want to pick up more 6 amp hour, 7.5 amp hour batteries. And if you're buying those at full price, these 6 amp hour batteries are $299 more a piece. So to add 2 more onto this, you're going to spend an extra $600, something that's kind of a hidden cost for a product like this.
So let's get to the fun part. I now put the Ego Power Station through a bunch of testing, and I wanted to see what I could run with this power station. I started off with our gazebo. We've got this really nice ceiling fan and light, and I was running it in the evening, and with that light and fan running at a high speed, it was pulling approximately 32 watts of power. The 2 6 amp hour batteries went down 5% in 30 minutes, and I calculated that I could run that unit for approximately 10 hours on those 2 6 amp hour batteries.
I wish that I could show you guys in the app how much time is remaining. Unfortunately, it just tells me 1 minute here. I do believe it's because we are under like 100 watts of power. This thing just doesn't do a good job gauging how much time is remaining.
Next, I tested our 40-foot LED patio lights hanging by our house. They were pulling roughly 21 watts, and the batteries went down 3% when I tested them for 30 minutes. I calculated that you could run those lights from those 2 batteries for 16.5 hours. Next, I tested our full-size double-door refrigerator with a freezer. And now this was a little trickier because the refrigerator will only pull 6 watts of power until the compressor kicks in, and then it pulls a different wattage, which was right around 133 watts. So while that compressor was running, the Ego app estimated that you could run the refrigerator for 3 hours 42 minutes at that wattage. Looking at more essential things, in the event that we did lose power, something that I thought we'd need to run for sure is our sump pump. And so I hooked this up and was able to definitely run our Flowtech 1/3 horsepower sump pump. It was pulling roughly 103 watts of power. And it was hard to estimate how long you'd actually be able to run this simply because our sump pump doesn't run continuously. The crock needs to fill back up and then it would kick back in again. Since we could run our refrigerator, which was pulling 133 watts, that was like 30 watts more than our sump pump. I figured we could probably get an extra 30 minutes to an extra half hour out of running that sump pump. So figured we could probably get anywhere from 4 to 5 hours of runtime out of our sump pump. And then maybe not an essential item, but something else that I wanted to test was our 75-inch LG television in our basement. I figured this might be cool if you want to run a television remotely somewhere, maybe to watch a sports game, or maybe you want to play a movie somewhere. Our TV pulled 170 watts, and the app estimated that you could run it for approximately 3 hours, 26 minutes, which would be enough time to watch a movie or pretty close to an entire football game.
So far, the power station has been passing every test that I've been throwing at it, but here is where, unfortunately, the power station fails.
So next, I tested a bunch of tools in case you were going to try and use this power station at a work site or a construction site. And this is where the surge power comes in, because you go to fire these power tools up and they're going to use more wattage to get them going, the peak power that's needed. So this can make it more challenging. I had my Bosch miter saw, which is supposed to take anywhere from 1,800 to 2,000 watts of power. Craftsman 7.25-inch circular saw, which is supposed to take 1,500 to 1,800 watts, and a smaller Black & Decker jigsaw, which uses just 350 to 450 watts of power. Now the power station has up to 2,100 watts of peak power, and I even added in 2 more batteries onto the power station, just trying to give it as much power as I could, and then I put it to the test.
We're going to come over, try this miter saw again. Still nothing. Let's go ahead and try this circular saw. Let's go ahead and see if we can get this guy going. Oh, a little bit. It's sure trying, but it is not going. That is 4 batteries on there. Circular saw also not going to work. Let's try starting this guy up. Oh, look at that.
Ultimately, I was not able to get the miter saw or the circular saw to start up. The jigsaw I was able to power just fine, and I even tested fully cutting through a 2x4 board, which was great. My big takeaway is that this unit is probably not ideal for power tools. It was interesting because even though it claims to have 2100 watts of peak power, it just wasn't enough to get those larger saws running.
And so I have plugged in as many different plugs as I can to this, and I just want to show you guys here some of the items that I am running, because I feel like these would be items you might be running as well. A Bluetooth speaker, a Nintendo Switch. I've got my phone that's charging over here. Down here on the floor, I've got a fan that's keeping me nice and cool. It's running on medium right now. And then I've got two laptop computers over here lighting this up. Maybe you want a night light or something to help you see in the evening. So I've also got a light over here. All these different things that are plugged in are pulling roughly about 150 watts of power. You'll be able to run all of these different electronics with these two 6 amp hour batteries for probably 3 to 4 hours. Obviously, as you adjust speeds of fans, turn things on and off, that may reduce the amount of wattage or increase the amount of wattage. You can see it's kind of fluctuating there. It actually went up to 175. So depending on the activities that you're doing, now if you want to improve that capacity, you can always add more batteries to the other bays on the station. But I felt this was a pretty good example here of what you might have plugged in and be trying to power all at once from this device if you decide to go camping or maybe you're remote somewhere. So running my home on this power station for 24 hours. I can tell you guys that with having all the different outlets in here, you can plug in multiple things at once. The fact that you can run a sub pump, a refrigerator, you can have all those things going. Those would be necessities to me. If the power goes out and I don't have AC, it's summertime right now in Wisconsin. It's 90 degrees outside during the day. I'd want to be running a fan. If I still have work to get done and stuff, I'd probably be plugging in my laptop, all sorts of different things that I'd be powering, charging up my phone, devices. You can do all that. Now, I'm not just using the 2 batteries that come with this unit. I've accumulated several batteries, actually 10 Ego batteries in total over time from purchasing all sorts of different Ego products. Having all those batteries, everything from 7.5 amp hour batteries all the way down to 2.5 amp hour batteries, gives me more time to have power with this power station to power those different devices. If you've already got other Ego batteries that you can use with this station, to me, this is a pretty good deal for what you're getting for the ability to basically turn the power that's in your batteries into usable power for things around your house, electronics. If you're going camping, that's all awesome. What they had on the previous model is it would actually tell you the estimated time remaining for the batteries depending on the load you had plugged in. That is not on here. I like the fact that if you want to charge this thing with solar, all you have to do is plug right in with your cables and it's got that ready to go. So you've got that ability to charge these batteries up with solar. It is a little bit of a slower process for charging, but having that pass-through power ability is really nice. Now with that pass-through power, if you want to have this plugged in the middle of your chain of power, so let's say you've got a refrigerator plugged in, but instead of having it plugged into the wall, you now plug that into this, and then you plug this into the wall. If you're going to lose power, once this kicks in, your refrigerator is still going to have power. I'm a little surprised with them claiming that this has up to 2,000 watts or 2,100 watts peak power, that I couldn't power some of those power tools that I was showing you earlier in the video. The majority of the electronics and things that I tested with this power station all worked, and I think that for your average power outage, you're going to be able to power a good amount of things in your house, but it is going to be for a limited amount of time. So if you are planning on buying a unit like this that is going to live up to a gas generator that you can continue pouring more gas into it, you're going to have to figure out a way to get more power into your batteries. Now, whether that's solar, which is definitely a slower charging option, or finding another location to go and charge up batteries, coming back and then adding them back into this unit, you can do that. But this is definitely not a unit that you would be buying if you were without power for several days. Now, if you're going camping and you're only going to use enough power that's going to maybe discharge one of these batteries, and then you've got the solar recharging for the next day and you can charge that battery back up, I think this unit is great for those type of instances. Should you buy this? If you've already got the Ego batteries and you're looking for another way to turn those into a power source for running electronics remotely around your house, I think this is a good value. I don't know if you're just starting off getting into the Ego ecosystem and you don't have other batteries, if this is the way to go or not. You're going to have to make that decision depending on how much you're planning on powering at one time. So I'm interested to know, where would you put this power station? Would you buy this, or are you passing on this unit? Let me know down in the comments section below. You should definitely check out all the other Ego review videos I've done on this channel, including the review video of the Ego Nexus, their earlier system, which is still available, their power station. I've got that linked in my Ego review playlist. That'll be popping up here as well. Before you go, though, you should definitely check out my Ego real-world experience video, where I've used the last, I think it's 7-8 years now of using Ego tools. I laid them all out, made a video showing you guys all my tools, give you my real-world experience, tell you about my favorite tools, my least favorite tools, give you guys my recommendations on best deals for picking them up and more. You can find that video down in the description, or that'll be popping up here as well. My name is Jeff. I do appreciate you guys watching. Hit that subscribe button, that notification bell. You'll never miss any of my future weekly videos on this channel. Be sure to make every day awesome, and I will see you guys in the next video.